Hello guys, my name is Bogaji and welcome to my YouTube channel. We want to talk about anger and anger management. So how do you react when you're angry, and then how are you able to compose yourself when you're angry? What do you do? So what do you actually do when you're angry? That's what we want to talk about, because anger is like fire. Fire is very important in our homes. So that's what we use to cook food. But then again, if you are not careful, it can burn down the whole house. So fire is an evil necessity. Fire, and that is what anger is. So anger is an emotion, it's part of human beings. We can't do without being angry, but then again, if you're not careful, your anger will consume you. So we want to know about how you should behave when you are angry. Now, the few questions that we can ask ourselves: how do you react when suddenly in traffic someone tries to get right in front of you without permission? How do you feel? How do you feel when your kids fail to cooperate? Now that point is very important, because when you have a baby, or let's say a 2-year-old baby, and then she's just moving helter skelter in the house, just destroying things, it could be very frustrating. Now the question is, how do you control yourself? How do you manage an argument? How do you manage it when your boss talks to you badly in front of co-workers? How do you manage it? How do you manage that? So we are going to delve into that today, and then we'll see how you should react in order not to. The truth is that whenever you are angry, allow yourself. Whenever you are angry, allow yourself to be angry. And when people are angry, allow them to be angry. They need to let that emotion out. So it doesn't matter what you want to do or what your intentions are. First thing you do is you allow them to be angry, so that the emotions will need to come out. Anytime you're angry, get this very imprinted in your skull. Anytime you are angry, think before you speak, because the words that you spew out at that particular moment could be detrimental. Anytime you are angry, try and think before you speak. There are some therapeutics or therapists who say that anytime you are angry, or anytime someone makes you angry, count from 1 to 20 before you speak. Now the whole idea is to prevent you from saying things that you regret later. So the purpose of thinking before you speak is to calm you down. Now mind you, once you are calm, now you have to express your anger. You don't have to go home with your anger. No, that could be like you sitting on a time bomb. It will definitely explode at a point. So once you keep your calm and you are calm, you now express your anger. Now expressing your anger doesn't mean you need to be shouting at the person. If for anything at all, always never be the first person to shout in any argument. Never be the first person to shout in any argument. It's a sign that you've already lost the argument. Or better still, never be a person to ever even shout at all. Anger, but not in a confrontational manner. I'll just allow this to sink in. Once you're calm, don't express your anger in a confrontational manner. You need to express your anger, but not in a confrontational manner. Not by shouting, not by causing extra havoc. So calmly lay your points down and try to make the opponent see reason with you. If you're able to explain your points very well, and it hits home with the person will come around and understand that, okay, so there wasn't even any point in going back and forth in the beginning, and calmly your relationship is intact, it's not damaged, and then you're able to go home with you need to get or understand is that you need to exercise. If there's room for you to walk around, please do. If there's room for you to get out of the environment you find yourself, just do. That is why I realize that most males, when they have issues with their wives or let's say their partners, they, in order not to be involved in any physical activity like fighting in the house, they gladly work out. Most of the time they just go out to get fresh air, or they just want to be away from the environment that's going to provoke them to either throw their hand, which I condone, or something else. So exercise is a very important activity. Mind you, we already mentioned that the more you exercise, the more you send blood to the organs of the body, and then you become much more focused, and and that. So you should try as much as possible to exercise. Any physical activity that you can do during that period, just to so that you can release stress, so that you need to start using the I statement. Now, what do I mean by the I statement? For instance, if the person that you are having the argument with refuse to do a certain work, instead of saying you never do anything in the office, you never do anything in the kitchen, you never do anything at home, rather you should say that I am upset that you had to let me do this all by myself. The moment you bring in the I statement, it diffuses it diffuses the anger component in the conversation. It more or less tones down the conversation, and then allows the other person to see reason. So instead of saying you don't do anything in the kitchen, say I'm upset that I always have to be the one doing the dishes. So in that case, even though you are trying to tell the person directly or indirectly that you don't do anything, you put it in the very nice quotes, I should say, for lack of a better word, and then the person would while sitting down alone, would think about it, and then will be able to get the sense that you put across. So the I statement is very important, and it's a technique that you should use always if you can. Even if you don't know how to do this, you should learn this skill. Use humor to diffuse any anger period or anger conversation. You could go as high as you can. Your tempers could rise as high as you can, but always make sure that you use humor to defeat the conversation, because the moment you're able to get the two parties laughing, at that moment it doesn't matter how serious the conversation was, or it doesn't matter anything that you seriously did wrong. Once the person laughs, there's a high probability that the person will let go of certain emotions, and then peace will be restored between the two of you, or the individual parties. And then know when to seek help. If after going through a lot of these anger management techniques, and then you are still having it hard controlling your temper, you can see a specialist. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you are sick or you are mad or anything, but it just means that you know when to seek help. So as any individual, you should know when to seek help from a specialist, and that is very important, because a lot of people who are very depressed take this depression and anxiety serious, but a lot of people are going through, and it's not part of our culture, so we feel you shouldn't talk about certain things, but it's hard time we talk about certain things. I will leave us with a question, and the question is drinking hot water good for anger management? Because there's a school of thought that when you drink hot water, your anger calms down. I agree to an extent that when you take in hot water, the blood is charged up and is able to move to other parts of the body, which in its own sense will relieve you of the stress that you are going through, just like having an exercise. But that's a question for us to discuss, so you can leave a comment in the comment section, and then we'll see how best we can deal with it. Alright, so it has been Bogaji for today, and then we talked about anger management. So see you guys some other time.